All right. You've come in pretty much during happy hour. The scene is what you see there in the pictures. A lot of people moving around, a lot of action, voices, um, speaking loudly. So nobody really notices any of you standing out. Like I said, this is a highly traveled road, so you see all kinds come through here. So Ravel, what do you do?
I I approach the bar, toss the barkeeper a silver coin, and say, "A drink, my friend."
He gladly serves you house beer.
As I take the tankard from him, I whisper in his ear, "I'm looking for a game of chance. You wouldn't happen to know of anyone who would hold such?"
He kind of gives you a knowing look and gestures broadly at the room, and you can see several games of chance being played, cards, dice, anything you could think of. There's quite a lot of gambling.
I stroll over to one of the tables playing cards and say, "Do you have a seat at your table for a unlucky fellow such as myself?"
They say unlucky. Yeah, of course. Unlucky is always welcome here.
Ravel lounges in the chair, and back in the chair, throwing his leg over the arm of the chair, and takes a hand.
All right. Do you have a button for card proficiency to make a check?
I have got proficiency with it, but
Yeah, base it off of
is it?
intelligence, I think, or dex if you're trying to cheat.
Yeah, I'll go with dex. Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand, sure.
I haven't. You need. I'm just going through my skills as we speak, so there's no proficiency added.
Yeah, we can add +2. So you're caught pretty quickly. You throw a card out, and the man next to you takes a dagger and stabs it through the card onto the table and fixes you with a cold stare. Pointing out that there are two of that card already on the table.
I lean forward across the table with my left hand under the table and ready an eldritch blast for any violence, and say, "If I was you, I'd pick that dagger back up, son."
He wrestles the knife free and he says, "You're no longer welcome at our table." And the other guys fix you with cold stares as well, and they basically stop playing until you leave.
I slink off with my tail between my legs.
I'm gonna move to Garen and ask for 2 beers.
All right. He quickly serves them up.
And I'm gonna walk back to my table. I've paid him whatever he wanted.
Of course. Yeah, a few silver pieces would cover it. There's a guy making the rounds here in the tavern. Looks like this. And he's got a rolled up piece of parchment, and he's trying to find anyone who's willing to buy a treasure map from him. So he goes up to... Oh, you approach him, even better. Go ahead.
I say, "How goes it, little friend? And what would this map that I hear so much about be leading to?"
He says, "This map, my friend, will lead you to all the greatest riches in the vast swamp. I suppose you've heard of the tomb of Chonis. And you can each make a history check on that if you want. Ravel, obviously you have heard of it. It's been a local legend since always.
Yeah.
And the rest of you can just click.
-1 in intelligence.
And so the rest of you on your character sheets, if you find the history skill, you can click that and roll and see what you know.
Okay, so we are hearing this conversation.
You guys are overhearing it, yeah. I would assume
Okay.
you've taken an interest in the treasure map, and we can see what each of you
I
know.
didn't. I'm neutral.
Yeah. Okay.
So history check.
Well, you guys haven't heard of it, but Ravel certainly has. And Willie is this red-haired gnome. His name is Willie. He says, many fine riches await you if you can overcome the ancient evil.
I say, so says the rumor. So says the legend, but legends are known to be false. What guarantees do I have your map is true?
He said, let's see. He says, well, as far as guarantees go, I couldn't help notice you're a gambling man, so why not gamble on the greatest wealth of all, an ancient treasure guarded by what's probably dust and nothing else.
Ravel smiles and reaches into his coat pocket and produces a double-headed coin. On one side is Timora, the goddess of luck, and on the other is, I can never say it, Babisha. He says, we'll let the coin decide. Timora, I buy your map. Babeshka, you'll have to find another customer. So it's 1 for Timora, 2 for Babesh. Mate. I say, I smile and say, look be damned, I always fancy a gamble. And I say, how much is it you ask for your map?
He says, I only need 5 gold pieces to continue on my journey. So that's what I will part with the map for.
Rand makes a show of rummaging in his pockets and says, 5 gold's a lot of money for a piece of paper with no guarantees. I'll offer you 2 golds and 5 silver.
All right, make your persuasion check. He looks kind of crestfallen and a little bit concerned. You can see he's running some figures in his head, and he says, that should be enough to complete my journey. Very well, I will part with my map for 2.5 gold pieces. And he holds out a hand.
And what about the evil you mentioned before?
Why, my friend? Does the evil interest you more than the treasure?
Well, I'm here on a pilgrimage, you know, and Lathander shines its lights everywhere, so I'm here to spread its words and for spirits. It seems spirits are not so well in this part, and it seems now I'm going to fight some evil dust and smoke, but here I am.
Ravel gives him an appraising look over, and you can see the cogs in his head turning, and says, well, if you're here to battle evil, I could always use an extra pair of hands on such expeditions. Would you be interested?
Well, that suits me fine. As long as the spirits are better in the place we're going. Because this beer was pretty awful.
Rand smiles and says, well, I'm afraid you'll have to put up with it for tonight. We'll set off in the morning. Find yourself some accommodation, and I'll meet you in the bar room for breakfast. And then he swaggers off to mingle with more of the...
Okay, fine, but no gambling. Remember that. No gambling. I'm not the one to gamble, you know. I'm a priest.
Oh, no one's a gambling man until they are. We'll make a gambler of you yet.
I can make some exception for the, you know, nubilate law. That's gambling not. I'm strict to the law. No, it seems I'm a lawful neutral character. Or so it seems. So I don't care pretty much for politics and the like. I need only the spirits to be good. And here they are not. So I'm gonna move. Let's check those evil scents of yours.
Very well. Well, just be here in the morning, or I'll leave without you. For me, I've got a night of cards and debauchery ahead. Any wonderful?
All right, Rowan, you overheard all of that, so it seems that there is an adventure afoot, possible riches to be had, and you know that they're meeting first thing in the morning. Each of you can tell me what you're going to do overnight, and then we'll just do one roll, and then we'll keep moving. Because like I said before, I want to try to keep these adventures like 2 hours or 3 hours pretty quick, so we'll move along quickly. Ravel, I know you want to gamble the night away, so go ahead and do another sleight of hand if you're cheating, or just straight cards if you are trying to go legit.
Can I go deception for bluffing and cards and stuff?
Sure. Yeah, that'll work. Whichever skill you want to apply and whichever way you want to apply it.
Yeah.
All right,
That
you did
needs,
pretty good.
Proficiency added into it as well. So that'd be
Got it. Okay. Then you gained 7 gold pieces from your night of gambling. You came out on top. Well done.
No.
Morgren, what do you spend your evening doing next morning?
Praying to the tender to get some fine beer.
All right, make a religion check.
Okay. Hope it's a cool one. Oh, that thunder shines on me.
It does. While you've rented a room for the night and you feel uncomfortable on the straw bed, and you're kind of shifting back and forth, can't get comfortable, and then finally you realize why. Somebody left a flask underneath the bedding, and you pull that out, and it is fine spirits. So you sleep well.
Yeah. Well, you know, beer, alcohol doesn't solve problems, but you don't mind them.
Right.
So fine.
And Rowan, how do you spend your evening?
Since I already started, I'm continue to drink.
Fantastic. Give me a Constitution save. And the saves are above the skills, I think.
I'm gonna drink all night.
Oh, yeah. Rowan has no trouble holding her booze.